Welcome back. All right, so just a quick news video to round things out on the news front for today. We're starting things off with Jacob Vrana. He did clear waivers as expected, which of course has led to discussions of whether or not GMs are colluding with one another to I guess allow Vrana to clear waivers. His salary cap hit is a problem for about half the league. You could not acquire him without trading away a significant portion of your team. In that you'd have to get rid of a pretty big name player, and nobody has room to take on a big name player. And why? He also came out of the player assistance program recently. His numbers in Grand Rapids, those 3 games, as I talked about yesterday, not great. Now, of course, people have said, well, he deleted the Detroit Red Wings stuff before he went into the assistance program. That's still odd for a team that you play for and you plan to keep playing for. It feels odd. If I go on vacation and I decide to delete all mentions of my workplace while I'm on vacation, I might be looking for another job. So just throwing that out there, and it's all of these things combined that, yeah, if I'm a GM of another team, this is a guy who gets hurt often. Is he a good talent? Absolutely. But does he get hurt often? Absolutely. The cap hit's high for a guy that you don't know if you're going to have to replace at some point at a time where over half the league is at the cap. I really understand why a GM would look and go, well, we're not touching this. Plus, they may have called Steve Yzerman. Yzerman may have told them what was going on, and that may very well have been enough as well. There hasn't been anything further that's come out since then. Elliot Friedman himself just posts like that he clears, and just that's it. There hasn't been anything else that I've seen. So is there something else going on? We don't know. I mentioned in the first video this morning that Lalonde being very quiet about it won't dissuade anybody from whatever beliefs they have. But the idea that the league somehow conspired to make sure he clears waivers is, that's no. That's just a no. That's a no for me. But at any rate, we also have World Juniors going on. I am currently watching Czechia and Sweden. Entertaining game. The World Juniors, I enjoy watching it. I don't feel like I have to, do the full-on recaps like I do for NHL games, because it's more of, it's juniors, and I like to pick players out of the tournament and say, I wonder how he's going to do. And that goes back to the days of Brent Tully. So there's a name, a blast from the past for everybody. Brent Tully, who I thought, hey, Canucks property and did really well at the World Juniors. Can't wait to see what he's going to do at the NHL level. It didn't happen. But at any rate, I am watching Sweden and Czechia, which is about at the end of the second period right now. U.S.-Canada gets started at 6:30 Eastern. I'm not doing a full-on recap, but will I keep track of it and see what's going on? Yes. It is the Connor Bedard show. 5 games, 8 goals, 13 assists, 21 points. I've kind of found myself scratching my head, too. So he's breaking records right, left, and center. And the comments of, well, this is against lesser opponents. Everybody plays against lesser opponents at the World Juniors. I mean, honestly, Lindros's record, there were weaker opponents back 30 years ago as well. So I find that argument odd. Like, well, yeah, you got all these points, but they're against weaker opponents. Right, that's kind of the tournament works. That's how guys get these gaudy point totals. You're not going to get those playing against Sweden, Finland, USA, Canada, against these countries exclusively. You're not going to get those kinds of totals. But Bedard's been fantastic, and we'll see what he has in store today against an American team that comes in with Logan Cooley playing quite well. So should be an entertaining one. Cam Talbot debuting a new mask. Clearly the Senators want Ryan Reynolds to be an owner. I think it's going to happen. So now Talbot has a new mask that has Deadpool on it. The fact that Deadpool's colors, of course, are red and black. The colors for the Sens are red and black. It just works. And I really think that this is something we're going to see happen this year. The new ownership group will come in, or a new owner, whether they have a few guys that are joint owners or just the one. Whatever they decide, I think Ryan Reynolds is going to be involved. It's too much money to turn down. And then from there, we would probably see some kind of movie or some kind of documentary series like we got with Wrexham. The Wrexham series is entertaining, and it is fun to watch. So a series like that on the Sens would be entertaining, and we might get more of an inside baseball look at hockey teams than we normally do. So yeah, Talbot's mask, just another sign that the Senators really want him there, and I think that's the case of the NHL as well. They really want this to happen. The NHL knows that would really help them get more mainstream attention. Carter Hart's been taken off the IR by the Philadelphia Flyers, as was expected. It is a concussion that he's been under, but it was not seen as anything major. It wasn't seen as the kind of concussion you have to worry about over long term, and he felt pretty good pretty quickly afterwards. So Carter Hart's off the IR for Philadelphia. With him on the IR, it did give Ersson a chance to show maybe he's the best guy for the backup spot. So we'll see if that is in fact the case. But yeah, for Hart, he's off the IR, and that's good news. I've seen a lot of speculation about Lafreniere, so I'm just going to talk about it in this video. A, he's not on the trade block. Apparently, teams have been calling about him. B, why would he be on the trade block? Like, I understand him being a healthy scratch will be, a reason for people to look and ask all kinds of questions, but I don't think the Rangers are in any position where they need to move Lafreniere. I haven't heard anything about Lafreniere wanting out. That's not been part of it either. I mean, if those things change, then that would absolutely cause that conversation to ramp up. But for the Rangers, a worst-case scenario would be giving up on Lafreniere right now, seeing him go to another team, and then just kill it, right? So, and he has the talent to do that. I think with Lafreniere, I think he's on a team that's got some really good depth. I think that it probably causes him not to get the same opportunities he might with a team that doesn't have that same depth. But I think he'll be fine. Not all prospects come into the league and dominate right away. Some take longer than others. In Lafreniere's case, it's taken him a little bit longer, but the tools are still there. And again, this is part of the reason why I watch as much hockey as I do. He's playing well, he's not getting the results. And when he's not playing well and not getting the results, that's when you get concerned. But yeah, he's played well so far. That kid line is good. They threw that together during the last game. The lines get juggled a lot with Gallant, but when they put that kid line together, there's good forechecking. There's some good play there. And he has good chemistry with Kakko and Hedl. And Kakko's been showing signs too recently. His offense has been pretty good. So obviously there's going to be a lot of discussion with the Rangers and their development of players and whatnot. But I don't see any reason to think Lafreniere's on his way out of town anytime soon. I think the Rangers would give it at least like this season and then into next season before there'd be any consideration. If we don't see any kind of change or growth in his offensive numbers into next season, maybe. But yeah, there's no reason to think that that's going to be a thing right now. Patrice Bergeron coming out and saying what I think a lot of the Bruins are probably feeling in that locker room, that this is a special team. And this Bruins team is going on a run, and I say going on because it hasn't stopped since the start of the season, but the run that they're on, I haven't seen this that I can remember, and I'm even including Tampa Bay in 2018, 2019, where they had the 62 wins. This feels more like the Blackhawks in 2012, 2013. That was a different circumstance, though. That was a 48-game schedule. They absolutely killed it, and then they won the Stanley Cup. They made it look easy that year. If the Stanley Cup was starting in a couple of weeks, I'd feel really good about the Bruins' chances. They are the current Cup favorites. Their play's been fantastic, and their home record, 19-0-3. So that game at Fenway did count as a home game. They win it, and so that's 19 wins in 22 games at home. They've played over half their home games. They haven't lost in regulation yet. So I think there is something special brewing with the Boston Bruins, and I'm not going to overreact to it because, again, the Stanley Cup doesn't get awarded in January. It's more important how a team is playing in April than anything else. So I'm happy with what they've done. I think there is something special that's gone on, and I don't want to jinx it. So it's on the board. Bergeron saying it. I trust his opinion. He's been with the Bruins for about 20 years. And so if his belief in that locker room is that there's something special with this team, I can't remember him saying that in 2018, 2019, which was a very successful season, and then they went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They had a very good regular season that year as well. So there is something to be said about Bergeron at this point in his career coming out and saying there's something special with this team. He does have the one cup ring from 2011, probably wants a cup ring for the other hand as well. I mean, I'd love to see it. Obviously, as a Bruins fan, we'll see. I'm more convinced by the Bruins right now than I was, say, 20 or 25 games ago. But again, it's January, and there's that whole cart before the horse. You got to finish out the rest of the regular season too. But things look really good for Boston. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.